Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Contact Lost. My guest today doesn't need any introductions because he is one of the veterans of our team. So please welcome Vladdi.
Hello.
Hey, Vladdi, how's it going?
Good, good. I'm fine. I'm fine. I finally has this terrible ordeal called the WTC past me, so I can get back to normal life. Generally.
Back, back to enjoying Warhammer instead of
Yeah,
dreading it.
yeah, something like that. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Before we get into it, though, a massive thank you to our sponsors, the Army Painter and Weyland-Yutani, as well as our community of patrons. So, Vladdy, like I said, you've been on a team for years, so everyone in the WTC community, everyone following the national team, obviously know you already. But out of curiosity, which WTC/ETC was this for you? Can you
I,
recall how many
I
it's been?
missed two after the pandemic, and I missed one before, so I wasn't on three. I was on the
Okay.
rest. I was actually on the first one that didn't
Mm.
have 40k. First one was
Okay.
only
Oh,
only Warhammer Fantasy Battles.
and you
Second was
played on
Fantasy.
that one as well?
No, I just was watching the games,
Ah, okay.
and there was a single tournament for 40k
Mhm.
at the same time. So I was there, and the second edition had 40k, and I was there playing with the team.
Okay. Excellent stuff. So I learned something new. Didn't know the first one didn't have 40k. So that's that. And how do you feel being back on the team? It's a second consecutive year.
Good, good. I like it. I enjoy it. It's fun. Uh, uh, it's also hard work.
Hmm.
It's a bit like second job, but you have to do in your life something else than just family, kids, and work. And everyone does something else. And I, for years now, I do this, and I like it. I like to play, even when the meta is dark and full of terrors. I still like to play the game, so and enjoy it. So I do it, and actually nowadays, Games Workshop keeps me interested more than in the past because the meta changes. This is a bad thing and a good thing, obviously. But if you
Hmm.
want to keep yourself interested and find new solutions every few months, then this is actually good. So I'm interested. I play a lot, and I'm enjoying the game.
So you're happy with the pace that changes, bans, patches, etc. are coming in?
I'm very much. You must understand. I'm old, and the past I've seen. I lived here with 40k when 40k was Middle Ages, and
Hmm.
this was in fact dark times indeed. We have You have to understand that there are things that are difficult to understand now for people who are used to those patches, those slates, and things like that. When the OP army was coming out in the past,
Hmm.
you had to wait a year and a half for Games Workshop to nerf it. Not 3 months, year and a half. So uh, you know, fortunately, we left these dark times we past us, and we are now in the bright future. Sometimes it's getting darker than usual, like for like 3 months. Last 3 months were quite well, not very nice. But now we are hopefully on the right path with new slate to knights and to the dev guard, and hopefully next month some other things gonna get nerfed,
Hmm.
and we'll have balance again, hopefully.
So we as 40k people are now living in a summer, and not many people remember the last winter. For those of you that get the Game of Thrones reference here.
Something like that, yes.
Okay, and comparing the WTC now to the events of the past, because you said this is like a second job, etc., lots of preparation. So, is it more preparation than it was, years back when you attended the events?
Mate, are you ready for this? Are you really ready for this discussion? Do we have 2 days now? Because I will be talking now for 2 days straight. Well,
Oops, shouldn't have
you,
opened that rabbit hole.
you lured me. You lured me here about we promised to talk about Chaos Space Marines, and now you're asking about of WTC, mate.
Well,
This
we
is a
have to
trap.
fill the airtime. We can't just talk about Chaos
Yes,
Space
yes,
Marines only.
okay. But I will try to answer your question in some well, short manner. Basically, it's not the same, and it's very much the same. But I do think that the work an individual must do is exactly the same. I mean,
Okay.
but the work in general that has to be done is 10 times bigger. So basically, nowadays, if you don't have 10 times the number of people engaged in preparations, you are not doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are much more work. But if you're doing it right, the amount of work is the same. For me, for example, for last 2 years, my preparation, I prepared a lot. I played a lot of games. I took part in many discussions in our team about team compatible everything. I went to international tournaments, our tournaments, Beta Cups, things like that. I spent a lot of time. But for me, this is a fraction of time that I spent in the past. But you must
Okay.
remember that in the past I was a captain. Not only a captain, I
Mm.
was a pairing captain. And in the past, everything was on the captain. Every single thing was in captain.
So I mean, like,
Captain was preparing team comp
mm,
individually, one person. The captain was preparing pairings, one person. He had help, but basically, one person was responsible for everything. Now we have 3 to 4 people, and from the discussions we had today on the I don't know, Teams, something like that, for the future of our team Poland,
mm-hmm.
it seems that it's gonna be even more people. So basically, now we have 3 or 4 people who are responsible for all that. In the past, there was only captain, and captain was responsible for everything in terms of the essence, not the organization
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but the essence, the pairings, team comp. One person was responsible for that, and I was on university, or I was so only starting my work, so I had much more time, and I spent like 3 or 4 times more hours that I'm spending now for preparing for the PC. I spent every evening making pairings, thinking about team pawns, spying other teams. Moreover, now we have spies. Then captain was spying. Basically only captain was spying on other teams. So,
Okay.
as I said, per individual, it's the same. And in some roles, in the past, there was more work in the past. Now we have much more people. It's more the whole idea of Team Poland coming to the WC. Any team I'm guessing, is more professional. You have people responsible for many other different things. We have this year, thanks to you, we had a stream, for example, first time in history. So basically, these are big steps. They require a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot of work. So it's the same and different at the same time, basically. But let's be honest, general work now that you need to put to be top 5, top 3 on WTC is humongous. Is enormous. It's basically unimaginable for a person who never did that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's actually causing frictions in the communities because people do not understand how much work you have to put in to prepare. They have expectations, but not always realistic about how much time we can spend to do that, especially that we all work, and for neither of us at least in Poland, neither of
Mm-hmm.
us do 40K professionally.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. So I definitely hear that. And yeah, the expectations are always high, right? In
For
the
us,
community here.
basically, if we don't win, well, we are Brazil. We are Brazil. first team historically in the whole history of WTC. In for this year, we still came as first pick, first in the draft. So basically, if we don't come at least on podium, there's a huge disappointment. So there are expectations, obviously. Most of them are not based in reality. Let's be honest, because we are still top in this year. We are still top 5 teams in the world, and basically we are still, I think, in this top 5 group that is separated a bit from the rest of the pack. Those top teams. France is obviously in their own league now. There are 4 teams that are similar, very similar on the level, and there's everyone else basically. That's what I think.
Okay, and okay. So one last question before we get into the Chaos Space Marines. So how do you feel about the team's result, finishing 5th this year? It goes along the words you just said, that we're still in that top pack, so to speak.
Basically, it's another difficult discussion. Basically, I am happy with the result, but you must understand that I'm not going. I don't want to sound weird, but I don't. I no longer go to WTC to win. I go there to make friends.
How dare you?
That impacts my gameplay. That impacts many things on WTC. The way I play, the attitude towards my opponents, the attitude towards the game. I think it's clearly seen for everyone compared to how I behaved in the past. And so basically, the 5th place is I'm happy. I had 7 great games. I met some friends. I made some friends. So basically, it was blast. It was blast. I'm very happy. I spent a lot of hours in my life to do that, and probably do that. I will do that again next year. And so I'm very happy. But in terms of competitive, competitive attitude and what we expected, this is of course a disappointment. We wanted to go third at least. 2nd was okay, and we still hope for 1st. So basically, 5th is a bit. It's one of the worst places Poland was. Actually, it's the worst. It's the worst place Poland ever was in WTC. We were 5th.
We were 6th once.
We were? Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
I was on the team then. so basically, but yeah, probably. But
fair play to you.
5-6 is the worst place we ever took on the WTC. So it is a disappointment. But if you look at it from the meta, from data point, this year we drew against a team that ended higher than the team we drew last year. We lost against a team that ended up higher than the team that we lost to last year. So basically, if you analyze the data a bit, you can see that our result, not in terms of places, but in terms of how we did on the LDC, our result is slightly better than last year. And last year we were 3rd, and now we are 5th. So basically, if our Lesiu, if Lesiu would have won against John Lennon, that he had some very unlucky rolls, and very unlucky things happened there. And if he won like 11 against John Lennon, we would have taken the win and became silver medalists. Or one game out of 52 or something like that. And we had some bad rolls, some very unlucky games against Canada, and the result was not satisfactory. We still won, but the general result was not satisfactory, and that cost us like 3rd place at least, because those 30 points that we could score on Canada would have slingshot us to 3rd place. So basically, it was. With margins like that, it's difficult not to be at least partially disappointed. But
Yeah,
but it's a very competitive environment. Last year we were able to sneak away past Sweden that we lost
Mhm,
to on the fourth place, and this year some other team was able to do that past us, basically.
mhm. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. When it gets to those tiebreaker points, it really reminds us that it's a dice game, right? So a lot of things can happen. Not all of them in the player's hands. And if you want to see an unlucky game, you can rewatch the stream game of Skark playing against Jason. That's the round against Canada. And yeah, the dice were not favorable for
Rough.
our
They were a
team
bit rough.
member.
So
Yes.
that will happen basically, and some slightly better rolls. Some I think basically like two charge rolls in Leshu game against John Lennon. Two fucking charge rolls on 9 and on 11. If John fails them, we win the whole fucking round and become silver medalist. If
Hmm.
John makes them, he's in the game. He's winning. Well, basically not. He's in the game.
Not yet. He was
Not
in the
yet.
game.
He
What
has
happened
most
later
goddamn
made
other
him
things. He has
winning.
to kill two knights. It's just
Yeah, exactly.
statistically impossible, but they did kill those knights. So basically, but it's a dice game, right? It
Mm.
happens. It happens. This time it happened to us. Maybe next year we'll be a bit more lucky and we'll take this second place, which was very much within our grasp this year.
All right,
Because
excellent. Yes.
France was beyond approach this year, but hopefully we're gonna improve as well, and we're gonna get them next year.
Yeah, we're all playing catch up now. We can join forces 4 against 1. Maybe we can get rid of those baguette people. All right. That was very interesting to hear. Let's move on to the Chaos Space Marines. So, Vladdy, you've prepared some lists you want to walk us through. Talk a little bit
Well,
about state of the
basically,
faction.
it's not basically quantum physics. I want to go through three lists that were top three for Space Marines on WTC, and one list that was not top three, but was in the top, the team that won the tournament, so in the team France. So basically, I think I will go through them with the considering the places they took. So basically, I start with the best team and then go downstairs from there.
Okay.
Is that okay? Okay. So
Yeah, that is
basically,
perfectly
the,
fine.
the funny thing is all those four lists have different. They are built on different detachment, every single one. So
Fantastic.
so
I love that
basically,
already.
it shows that if Chaos Space Marine, even if in my honest opinion a bit, let's we'll wait.
Outdated, I
Outdated,
think,
yeah. But I
is
don't
the
want to
word.
say outdated because in 2 weeks I may eat those words because the balancing slate will come in.
Hmm.
Those are things that are best are gonna get nerfed, and now Scale Space Marine suddenly will be very very good. They're data sheets basically, but for now the data sheets are a bit
Yeah, but
outdated.
datasheets themselves, I don't expect to change. That they are changed very rarely. It's usually
No.
points, right? And some
The
faction
that
rules, maybe.
data
But
sheet
data
won't change,
sheets,
but some
yeah,
OP
exactly.
things in other armies will change, and they're
That's true.
gonna be go up in points probably, and suddenly those I don't know possessed who are not basically offensively too good suddenly will not be that bad because the forge fiend in the world eater army will be a bit more expensive and they will not be killing them so effectively. That's what I mean.
Hmm.
But still, there were a lot of case marines, not that much, but quite a big number, especially in top teams. Quite a lot of space marines, so army is not in a bad place. Those four teams, three top house space marines, every single one was sporting different detachment.
Hmm.
So there is a variety, there is some different ways to play, and there is still damage because well, those armies made some nice results. So let's start with the top one. The best Chaos Space Marine on the WTC was William Furiman, something like that, from Switzerland,
Yes, Switzerland. There we go.
and
Renegade Raiders.
he went 7-0. So 7-0 is quite nice on WTC, but we have to remember that this is WTC. So he played in the pods and he won his
Mhm.
game, but his team didn't. Switzerland is a good team, but it's not top team. So he didn't play all his games against those best out of best.
Mhm.
So basically, and moreover, he might have been an attacker, not a defender. So he might have got favorable pairings. So
Mhm.
we have to remember that when talking about who was the best and who wasn't the best house-based Marino tournament, because it's a bit different than it's a lot of different than in singles basically. But
It
we have to
sounds like you're making excuses that you come up a little bit later here.
no. Based, it's well, I
I'm
didn't
kidding.
even I
It's
didn't
slight
I
jab.
it didn't even thought it might sound like that because if you are a veteran team player, you understand that that's the case. It shows for a lot of people. There are a lot of crazy good people on this tournament. Not all of them went to top one because there were, for example, defending on doing some filling some roles in the teams. For example, taking some unfavorable pairings for the rest of the team and things like that. So basically,
Mhm.
it's not so easy. But yes, let's do to the Caesars what is Caesars.
Mhm.
The William Fuhrman brought a riders list. Basically, that is a 100% MSU standard MSU list. It's a very good list. Actually, the funny thing is, I have a friend in Krakow. He plays
Mhm.
identical list. So basically, there
Okay.
are some very good, albeit also quite standard things there. There are two noise marine units. There are things on rhinoces, legionaries. There's one unit of chosen. There are three predators, some bikes, and Lord Discordant with River, with enhancement. House Lord, obviously, Cypher, but Cypher is everywhere. I was up probably in the top five Chaos Space Marines, the only Chaos Space Marines that didn't do Cypher. So
Mhm.
basically, this is total MSU, very fast, very deadly, and something is on the objective, with nice rules to supplement, for example, to help, for example, Navy Marines. They can move and shoot, the advance and shoot. They have +1 AP on the shooting at something on the objective. So this is a very good army, one that I actually considered myself on WTC. I played a bunch
Mhm.
of tests with very similar list, with some similar combos. Finally, I decided against it because I found that when a player is not making plays and not standing on objectives, this army lacks damage.
Mhm.
So I finally decided against it, but I played a lot of tests with this very similar list with two noise marines, with how Lord Discordant, with river enhancement, things like that. So basically, very nice list, very good result. I would like to see what he was paired against and if he was attacker defender, but it's unfortunately very difficult. I think it's impossible to get that from BCP, so we will not know that.
Yeah, that's true. You could only see, well, you could see who he played against if you have a subscription, but not how it came up in the pairings, right? Which is a factor here,
Yeah. So
of course. But yeah, Noise Marines units and Raiders, they can get full rerolls out of a transport, so circumstantial because the target needs to be on the objective, but it's pretty good damage if it happens. And the Dread Reaver Discordant also with the potential to get full rerolls is pretty nice. So
yeah,
yeah,
and you
steady
can
damage.
also get Furious Boy basically in fight phase with this House Lord and Legionaries,
Yep.
or basically there's one small chosen unit. So there are a lot of damage, and a lot of mobility, and
Mhm.
a lot of a huge ability to trade. and this with this list, but the only downside is the opponent has to be on the objectives. Otherwise, you lack in damage.
Okay, so from your testing experience, what is something that's problematic for this list? What faction causes it problems?
Basically, it's easy. You take 6 House Knights, and then you move them forward, maximum range. Do not stand on any objective by doing so, and then opponent does something. He does shit to you, and then you kill him. Easy. This list dies against 5-4 Imperial Knights or 6 Imperial Knights if they just move forward. Do not. This is imperative. This is very important.
Skip one turn of scoring.
Skip a turn of scoring. Yes, maybe if they really want to, they can move something on their expansive objective, but only one, but only there. Then your opponent has one turn to do something on against 5 knights. He basically, you're not on the objective, so he fails to kill a single knight, and then you table him. Easy.
Okay. Well,
Basically, it goes for knight. It's not like I didn't test it like this. This is
okay,
test. This is proven theory. This is
fair
not
enough.
I just. This is not something I imagined now. No, this is this was proven. This is done, and it works like that. Unfortunately.
Okay, well, I hope the next list you're going to give a better advertisement to Chaos Space Marines.
But don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. This Riders
kidding,
list
of
is
course.
very good. It's a very good list. I like it very much. I would play it myself, but if not for knights, I would play it myself. So that's why I think he wasn't a defender. I think he was attacker. He attacked. If I was to guess, he was attack. He attacked a list that he could could trade well against, and if he needed, took objective because he has a lot of mobility in this detachment, so he can deny scoring, score himself, deny scoring, and kill everything on the objective. So basically, against a lot of lists, this is a very good list. Don't get me wrong. In team environment, if you want to protect it a bit, it's a very good list.
And any examples of what it's great in attacking into?
I would, for example, took any Votan list with this. I would probably take. I would be confident against Eldars with this list. I don't know. I have to think about the Dark Elder as well. There are some other pairings that will be very good for this. It's bad that we cannot see who he played against actually, but I think there are a number of pairings that are very good for this list.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and well, he has also been playing it for quite a long while. I think Williams popped up on Gunhammer the weekly innovations where they put up lists of GT winners, etc. So yeah, kudos to him.
I didn't even know that, but it's a really good list against a number of lists you can meet, you can find find on WTC. So
100%.
I'm not surprised he did good. I don't know the player, but if he was protected in pairings, I'm not. This is not a shock to me that he went with 7-0, basically with this list.
Let me try and find who he played against, actually. Where do you search events on this one? Find events. That was 7th of August. Uh-oh. Used to be 40k. There it is, WTC. Can I still see this stuff? Oh no, that's not the tab. Player placings. And we need to find William. He was undefeated, so he's going to be somewhere up here real high. Okay, oh no, I have to check. I have to look at lists. Will they show, or I'm going to have to cut it out. Okay, so he's played Spanish Drukari.
As I said, Good
He
pairing.
has played Italian Emperor's Children,
It's a nice pairing too.
then Finland Tyranids.
Everything is good against Tyranids, unfortunately.
Portuguese Eldari,
As I said, good pairing.
then Luxembourg's Blood Angels.
It's a decent. I think it's a good pairing, but it's not a. It's basically a pairing that can go either way, but it's not a bad pairing.
Then we've got Dutch Space Wolves, and last but not least, and it was actually in the other order. I started from the last game, and then we had Scottish Astra Militarum.
Yeah, so he didn't play knights.
It actually does show.
He didn't play either Devcraft,
no.
he didn't play Guildcraft, nor Knights, nor Scout Knights. So basically, all three pairings that I would be quite sure that would be go in a very bad way for this list. But and he played some very good pairings, or at least manageable pairings, and he has a obviously good player. So he was able to took the wins against those lists that were, well, normal ones, not overpowered, not terribly overpowered. So I do think he was protected in pairings.
Does look like it. Okay, who have we got next?
Folger Piles, obviously, second.
Oh, there we go.
Second
Not
result.
much, not a lot of scrolling.
USA came third, and he had a very nice list. The only list that I didn't think about, because I tested Acoustic Cultist Spam, but not with House Cult. And this is a House Cult list with 3 blobs of Acoust, 3 Predators. Of course, Cypher, there's a Sorcerer there for additional AP. He has this ability that gives you additional AP against single target on 2+, so it never works. But if you're lucky, it does. So, and he has Hellstaker, just, because it's a good model now. And in basically, that's it. And this is list quite obviously, in my opinion, tooled to kill knights. It's not maybe an automatic 20-0, but it has very favorable pairing into knights. Those accused cultists not only hold knights by their legs, but also in the Chaos Cult list, they bring a lot of damage. A lot of damage. Just a lot of it. If you're playing it correctly and your opponent allows you to use all your abilities, so basically you can charge when you fire up your ability from Commune, and you're able to charge a knight the same, you're not being charged first, but you are able to charge a knight and then use your abilities. They have, for God's sake, and you pass a leadership test. This is important. They need to pass a leadership test because the detachment rule works like that. That when you movement phase, you have to pass leadership test. The Commune has 6, I think. If you pass it, it doesn't matter if you pass it or not for the rule to go. The rule is +2 to movement, +2 to charge. But if you pass it, you get the second part of some stratagems. First part works always. The second part works only if you pass the leadership. And there are 2 ridiculous stratagems, basically. One gives you full roll to hit, and if you pass leadership, full roll to wound. Remember that you have +1 to hit from Commune and +1 to wound from Commune. Then, if that's not enough, you have a stratagem for 1+2 attack, and if you pass leadership, +1 to strength. Suddenly, you have strength 6, and strength 6 is a threshold. So basically, you now won't ignite with your 18 +6d6 attacks, with hitting on 3+ rerollable with lethal
Wounding 4
sustains,
plus rerolling.
then rolling on 4 plus reloading, damage 2, and the -2, by the way, because you fired up the sorcerer. And then your knight receives 50 damage in one turn, and you're thinking, what the fuck happened? Where's my knight? So
Yeah.
it works basically against everything in general. But it works very good against knights because there are a lot the stratagem and the rerolls and +1/+2 gives nice threshold against knights.
Mm-hmm.
And horde, basically most hordes are quite decent against knights because they struggle to not only kill hordes, but basically if you are a horde, if they catch you by the leg, it becomes difficult because you don't have fallback into things in either
Mm-hmm.
night. So this is a good list. It's a good list into knights. Basically, I saw him play against German knights and just making fun of them. And who was playing? Arne. Arne was trying to not get slaughtered, I guess, because Folger took fixed. So
Mm-hmm.
Arne was put all his knights in the corner of his deployment and never moved from there. Whole goddamn game. And it doesn't matter because the army is so fast. This cult list is so fast. Either way got charged and he killed like 3 knights and Arne lost to 2, I think. Anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
so it wasn't a good tactic. Basically, we played USA and I think Skark was playing against it. I think he lost by 9-11. It was far better result than what
10-10 is
10-10.
what's in
It's even
BCB.
better. It's even
Yeah.
better. It's a very good result for Skark, I think, because this is the list that was supposed to kill knights. So it was, I think, one of the best. Basically, in terms of team play, those best results could get in the whole tournament because it was against a hard counter, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
so
he got 14 into Arne. To
14. So it's 14. Yeah.
yes,
So remember 14 with Arne keeping all his knights in the
in the
corner in the
deployment.
multiple game
Yeah.
on fixed. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, I think there was and since he played us, he was paired against our knights and he was paired against German knights. It's quite obvious it was a planned as a knight counter, and it worked that way. In my opinion, worked that way quite well.
Okay. So since we checked for William, we can also have a look who exactly Folger played. So round 1 against Israeli Eldari. Obviously, I think we can see that list working into
Yeah,
Eldari.
yeah, that's another hard counter. Yeah, Dark Elder and the Elder list are very bad against it. Yes.
Then we had the Bulgarian Guard, then Danish Eldari,
Another
then
nice.
French Space Wolves, which was Folger's only loss in the tournament.
That seems very fair and quite, and it's actually a bad pairing for this list because Space Wolves has a lot of attacks, a lot of damage that can kill those curse cultists quite easily. So I'm not surprised with the result.
Yeah, especially Oliver's list when he had 10 Terminators, 20 Blood Claws,
Yeah,
Ragnar, stuff like that. They can definitely dish
I
out
know.
the amount of attacks which you need to get rid of these guys. And then we had that game against Arne that you've mentioned, against Skark in the last round, and in round 6 he played Austrian Death Guard, which was an 18 win. So,
So not sure if
what
it's
do
an
you think
18.
about that one?
Not sure if that's an 18 pairing. So he probably did something good and his opponent did something bad. I don't think it's
Mm-hmm.
a pairing that you should expect 18. But basically, I think it's quite easy. He was played as a counter. He counted elders and knights, and he got 4 of
Yeah.
those counters. And well, he did 3 times. He did well. Skarak stopped him. We didn't get us a win, but it was I think very good result for Skarak. He got one unfavorable pairing, he lost, and the only pairing that doesn't stand out as a does stand out as an anomaly is this 18 against Death Guard. I'm not sure what was in that Death Guard, but it doesn't really matter. I think it wasn't that. It's not a good pairing, but it's there are things you can do, and that pairing, especially if it was a very hard shooting. Death Guard, it's doable, but it's not easy pairing. It's not easy pairing by any means.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, like you said before, that's Skark draw. That's like the famous draw in football, Wembley, 1973,
Yes, something like that.
winning draw,
Something like that.
stuff like that.
Yeah, it was unfavorable pairing. So the fact that Skark did,
Mhm.
then he actually played it different than Arne. I think he didn't play it defensively. He played a normal game, took the fight to those Akut's cultists, and I think it was a card play. But still, it is a counter. We talked about with Skark about this pairing. I told him what he should expect, and he was prepared for it. So. So he did good, I think.
Okay, let's move on. I believe this is the player we will now be looking at.
Probably, yeah. Well, that's me, basically. I run an old detachment. It's veteran of the Long War. The history of me switching to that detachment, I played MSU packed list for a few months. We thought about putting it in the front as a first defender. Basically, playing for high space marines for defender because they are versatile. They can switch to littles if they need to card hard targets. They can switch to sustains if they want to kill hordes. So they have damage that can work against anyone. They are basically quite good, generally quite good. Not maybe some things are a bit outdated, but generally knights, the high space marines are generally quite good, and you can make an army that can take on everything, I think. But we hit a wall, and that wall was knights. And one of those games that I told you about earlier, that my opponent puts the knights in the middle of the table in the first round, and I shoot and I do nothing. Then I fail a charge, 5 in charge with reroll. My Mauler failed to charge, make a 5 in charge with reroll to knight. And then I, throughout the first turn, on a very aggressive knight player, do 12 damage to all the knights everywhere, then lose 7 vehicles in one turn, and then the game ends. So very, very interactive gameplay. So basically, that what happened. I played another game against House Knights that same tournament. My opponent though was very defensive, and we took he won 11-9. So it wasn't that bad. But if my opponent decides he wants to get a big result and moves all the knights to the middle of the table, and then gives me one turn to do things, so my MSU had a good chance of not doing enough, and then I lose the game. So we had to think about something, still keeping wins perhaps experience because we didn't want to switch entirely to something else. We had some ideas, but we decided against it in the end. So I had a week because Pyracap, when I took that trashing, was a week before the release deadline. So I had a week to figure out the K-Space Marines that will not lose hard to knights if they push hard, and still will be able to take at least draw against everything else. And I came up with Veterans of the War. The pros of the advantages of this detachment is that if my opponent puts anything forward, I will kill it. That's basically it. If my opponent plays aggressively and wants to score a big points on me, I will kill everything. I will kill them very badly. And if he doesn't want to play aggressively and just plays defensively, I am unable to make it to stop him from scoring, and we'll get a 10-10 or something like that. That's basically how the list works. If you get too close, I will fucking destroy you. If you don't get too close, well, we'll just play
Shake
1
hands,
hour,
go for beer.
shake hands, play 1 hour game, take a 10, but basically that's just to make sure that we understand each other. I was a first defender out of 8 players, So if I took a 10, if I took 7 10s out of this tournament, I would be a great warrior, a great player. And I took a bit more than that. So basically, I didn't
A little
lose.
bit.
I was a first defender, and I didn't lose a single game. So I am extremely happy with my result in the end. But it was a bit frustrating. A bit sometimes when, for example, my Votan player in the first turn put Sagittar on his expansion objective, and I had nothing on the table that had a lot of ruins in the No Man's Land, so it was difficult to get around with bikes, and I suddenly didn't have anything to threaten that objective because the army works like that. So there were downsides, but for the role that I was given by my team, this list was very good. I am very happy with it. I scored around 13 average, a bit less than 13 points on average from every single game. Didn't lose a single one. Came in the end, came third for Space Marines. I've been quite decent place in general individual placing. So I was quite happy. The list worked as planned. Did things that I was planning it to do, and from first defender, not losing a single game, I took 2 big wins. So basically, I'm very happy.
Yeah, I mean, it ticked all the boxes, right? So, like you said, first defender, take all comers. You bought at least 10 in every of the games, and people had no idea what it does.
Yeah, it was okay. It was the only veterans on the whole tournament.
Yeah, and claimed it as overcooked, but you've proved them wrong. So well done.
Oh well,
For sure.
Manolo from one of the Team German who plays Dark Elder, he approached me and he told me that when he saw my list, he said that there are only 2 possible options. First, whoever made that list is completely crazy or just took the models that he likes in the tournament, or he's a genius and we should all learn from him how to play the game. And I don't want to say that loud which options I think happened here, but the results speak for myself. No, I'm just joking. But
Well,
basically, the list looked a bit random. I understand that, but it had to look a bit random if you realize that it was meant to be first defender all times. Every time first defender, then suddenly this randomness in list doesn't look, because I can't overcook in any direction. I have to be versatile and be able to take all comers. So this list had to look a bit random, basically, and I decided to go all damage, a bit less mobility, all damage. The list, and because of that, there were some things that were not that obvious in terms of that people take it. Basically, the attachment was the only one on the WTC, but it was very well thought in terms of not losing from first defender, and well, it worked that way quite nicely.
yeah, and like you said, it does look a little bit random. I think everyone can agree on that. That it's the stuff that someone has painted and takes it to their first event. But remind me, how many of the models were yours? 2?
Well, but as I said, just remember that the list was made in a week after the Pro Cup. So I had to just make a list and not care about models. To be perfectly honest, I do have all those models. I do have those models. I have all this army in my home, but my models tend to have too many legs, too few legs. I am a converter. I like to use models in different ways, in different things. So basically,
most of my models do not fit the WTC criteria for model the possibility to play a model on the WTC. Basically, they were unplayable on WTC,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to borrow them from different sources, basically, and so I had them all the army from like I think five different people, basically. But it was the reason was that my models are heavily converted. They are some of them are very old ones. For example, my Predator from fourth edition that is heavily converted. He's slightly smaller than current one because he had a lot of mutations all around. But he was, for example, not accepted. My Raptors that I did myself, they are old models. I mean, there are just Marines with jet jump packs,
Yeah.
but they are converted to be Space Marines with Raptor weapons with some spikes, things like that. They are a bit too small, for example, because new models are in flying poses, and they were not accepted as well. So basically, I had to make some borrow some models only because of that. And because of that, I had to. I have some original models, but basically not painted because I figured out that I will take these models, as I said, at the last moment, and in the end, it will all led to me borrowing models from different 5 different people. But well, it doesn't matter, right?
Of course.
I did
course.
good. All the
It's
models,
an anecdote.
I didn't lose a single model. I didn't break any models. So basically, I think
All
it's
good.
all good.
Just one question. What did your matrix look like? Was it really like all yellows or
Yeah. My teammates were making fun of me because I just picked all the lines, click yellow, and done. Estimations done. Easy. 5 seconds. 5 seconds each team. No problem. When I see
okay.
Votan, I do green on my table. Nice, easy. And when I see chaos nice or nice, I do flip if aggro. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that was tiresome, but I had to make that note. And I had flip if aggro against some aggressive list like berserker spams, and that
Okay.
was my metrics. But those basically in most cases, sorry, and the only but those still yellow. Flip if aggro yellow. So basically a drawish thing, and
Mm-hmm.
the only orange, so uh, s-
Mm-hmm.
unfavorable pairing in small amount
Yeah.
was Death Guard and Hammer with crawlers, basically, because those crawlers were able to limit my limited mobility by killing my
Mm-hmm.
bikes and units that I want to screen and things like that. And then the whole game was becoming more difficult. I played all tests against Hammer, and there were not easy games. So I put orange against Death Guard on Hammer, yellow against all other Death Guards, orange
Mm-hmm.
against crawlers, basically.
Okay. Fair enough. Right. Last but not least, from the winning team, we've got Creations of
Well,
Bile played by Alex Sacco.
so basically, it's prudent. I think it's in good taste to talk about the list that actually won the tournament because Alexander was in the winning team. He played
Mm-hmm.
for France. His list was obviously quite a bit standard creation of bio list with 2 blobs of possessed, basically all infantry, mostly close combat. This is the list that was played during last year after the creation of bio were out basically quite often. There was nothing really new about it. A lot of people played it before. A lot of people knew what it does, and unfortunately, if you wanna put a stick in this wheel, that unstoppable wheel of France team, France Advance. It doesn't seem like it was the best pick for France. I'm looking at the results. I don't know who he played exactly because I don't pay for
I'll
TCG.
tell you. So round one, we had Slovenian Emperor's Children. That was a 12. Round two, Finnish World Eaters. It's a Berserker warband that had two 20-man blobs and then
That's I think that was a Berserker spam basically.
yeah, but not exactly the same
Not
as the French one.
entirely.
Like half the Berserkers, and Alex got 20 there.
Yeah.
Then we had Italian Thousand Suns. Yeah, it's a Grand Coven, and he got an 11 out of that. Then he played John's Emperor's Children, 7 points. Then he played Swedish Eldari, got a 3. Then he played My Son, got a 14, and then he played Liam VSL, got a 4. So very mixed bag of results into
So
Eldari,
you wanna tell me?
whereas apparently it's a countering list, right?
So
Should counter
basically,
Eldar.
you wanna tell me that my son is the worst elder in this mix? He was the only
I don't
elder.
I don't want to say that, but the numbers speak for themselves.
He played 3 elders on this tournament and only won against one of them, and it was Mason. So he got hard losses against the other two. So basically, it doesn't look like it was a great pick. I don't think it. I didn't even consider. But this is very one card to play list. They don't have any very. They're not versatile. I'm not sure how France was using them. If it was a defender or attacker. But the results are not very impressive. And I know I watched some games that Alexander play. I know it's a very extremely good player. So I'm guessing these results are not satisfactory for him. I don't think this was the greatest pick because what exactly this list does? He played Eldars 3 times, so he was fought as a counter to Eldars. Then he got 2, 1-3 and 1-4 against Eldars. So it didn't work as a counter, basically as a counter to Eldars, except for Myson, obviously. And he played, from what I'm seeing, last 3 games. So those most difficult games he played against Eldars, he was clearly a counter to Eldars, I think. I'm not sure if I'm trying to think if Myson was attacking him or defending against him. I can't remember, but it obviously didn't. This is one of those lists that didn't work that well for France. It's quite clear, and I personally don't actually fully know how it's supposed to work. What they what they wanted to do with it. If they wanted to defend with it, and I don't think it's a terribly good defender because it lacks a bit of versatility against some opponents. You only can go forward. You can't kill things with shooting because you don't have shooting. So basically, it's the difficult. I think it's difficult to fit this type of list into team play because it's difficult to find a good role for it in the team comp. But well, what do I know? France won the tournament, so they clearly knew what they were doing. Maybe it was, just smoke screen or something. I don't know. The results are not very, not
Not the best.
Not the best by a long shot, but they won, so I think they know better. And that's it basically. All the list. There were actually a number of 12. Number 12 is a number. 12
12
Space
is the
Marines
number.
out of how many teams?
42.
So basically not that many. But if you look what kind of top teams had them, it's quite clear that they were high prior, at least in filling the gaps for top teams, because we had them, USA had them, France had them, Belgium had them. So basically, they were still considered a good pick for teams. And I do understand why. I do think that you could take them, and there's some other teams went that way too, as a night counter with House Cult, or at least Cruise Spam. I think it's a correct direction for teams for this army. Or they some other. Or in our case, we took them as defender, and I think I'm not sure, but I think France did too. And I think that Cosmosmin could work well as a defender too, because they have options again to change their damage into a given opponent. They can do additional attacks from sustains against hordes. They can do lethals against tougher opponents. So they are good. They can be used against everything. They can take on everything. So I think both roles, so basically a defender and attacker against eldars, elves, different elves, and Hell's knights and knights, both directions were good, basically.
Yeah, I mean, they might not be the shiniest faction, but they definitely deserved that spot in the team composition, because just skimming through here, it does look like the really good teams took them. So definitely warranted. I got one question for you regarding the French list.
Yeah.
Given that their team composition was all about aggressive armies, putting pressure on the opponents, do you think that CSM could be built differently for that role? Would you
Well,
take like a
I do
different
think,
detachment, maybe Williams list, for example?
yeah, I do think if they wanted to go full aggro, as you said, if that the team composed directed that way, card list with a cost will be much better in that role.
Oh, okay.
As I said,
Cowboy.
but I can't remember if he was a defender or an attacker. A cursed list is not a good defender because you take some strong anti-influential list, and it struggles. It can struggle. So it's not a good defender. So if not sure if they did, there is a chance it was a defender for them. Not maybe a first one, but a defender, and it would make more sense for it to be a defender than a cursed spam.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so we've covered the Space Marines. We've discussed the event, the team a little bit as well in the beginning. So I think we will sum up this episode. Vladdi, massive thank you for coming in. I really enjoyed this one. And I hope we've shed some light on the state the faction at the WTC at least. We'll see how long will this be applicable in the meta
That is true.
with a data slate around the corner. Guys, I hope that you listening to this also have enjoyed this one. So if you like what we do, please subscribe, hit the bell button, like, comment, what have you. Consider becoming a Patreon and or YouTube member. And a massive thank you to our sponsors, the Army Painter and Weyland-Yutani as well. That is it from us. Thank you and goodbye.
Cheers.